You're not behind because you have less time. You're behind because you're giving your time to the wrong things. Every single person you admire, the entrepreneur, the athlete, the visionary, they have the same 24 hours you do. They didn't get a longer day. They just stopped treating their time like it was infinite. They stopped chasing distractions and started building discipline. The truth is, life isn't rushing past you. You're just not directing it. Success doesn't require a miracle. It requires a decision to stop surviving the day and start mastering it. One focused hour can change more than 100 wasted ones. The question isn't, do you have enough time? It's, are you brave enough to take control of it? Time is the one currency you spend daily, like it or not. You don't get to save it. You can't borrow more. You can't negotiate for a bonus hour. Every morning, the clock resets, and you're handed the same gift everyone else receives 24 hours. The difference between those who thrive and those who survive isn't the number of hours in the day. It's how they use them. The myth we buy into is that we just need more time. More space, more freedom. But that's not true. What we need is more ownership. Ownership over where our attention goes. Over how quickly we abandon our goals for distractions. Over the excuses we feed ourselves when things get hard. Time isn't slipping away from you. You're giving it away hour by hour to things that give you nothing in return. The people who rise choose with intention. They understand that if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. Your phone wants your attention. The world wants your time, but your future, that belongs to you, and it's built or broken within these 24 hours. Every day isn't just a page in your story, it is the story. So the question isn't, where did the time go? The real question is, what did I choose to do with it? Most people aren't running out of time, they're running in circles. Constantly doing, endlessly multitasking, and proudly exhausted by the end of each day. But business is not the same as progress. Your calendar might be full, but that doesn't mean your purpose is. The world praises hustle, movement, speed. But the truth is, none of that matters if you're moving in the wrong direction. Productivity is not about getting everything done. It's about getting the right things done. And that requires brutal honesty. What's eating your schedule? Who's hijacking your focus? What habits are costing you everything while giving you nothing? If you don't know the answers, you're not managing time, you're reacting to it. Successful people aren't superhuman. They've just learned to protect their energy like their future depends on it, because it does. They say no more often. They choose depth over distraction. They turn down the noise to tune into their mission. If you constantly feel like there's never enough time, maybe what's missing isn't hours. Maybe it's clarity. Because when you're clear on who you want to become, every decision becomes easier. The noise quiets, the pressure fades, and the path appears. The most powerful use of time is almost always invisible. It's not loud, it's not flashy. It's the hour you wake up early to learn something new. The moment you say no to a distraction that once controlled you. The decision to stick to the plan after motivation fades. These micro decisions don't create viral moments, but they do create unstoppable momentum. Here's the truth: your future isn't built in grand events. It's built in routine. Ordinary days create extraordinary results. And when you take responsibility for your schedule, everything changes. You stop blaming others. You stop waiting for later. You realize the way you use your 24 hours is a reflection of how much you respect yourself. Successful people don't wait to feel ready. They act. Because they've learned something vital, the clock doesn't care about your excuses. It keeps moving. The question is, will you move with it or stay trapped in the same loop while another day, another chance, fades away? Discipline isn't about living like a robot. It's about recognizing that your time is finite, and not everyone, not everything, deserves access to it. People often confuse productivity with punishment. If I'm not exhausted, I'm not working hard enough. But burnout isn't the goal. Alignment is. What if managing your time well didn't mean doing more? but doing what actually matters. That's what discipline is. It's the deep self-respect of following a vision, even when distractions feel more fun. It's building a routine you can trust more than your moods. It's showing up for your future self, even when your present self just wants comfort. And when you live this way, your days stop being chaotic. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You realize that today, even with its flaws, noise, and obstacles, is the moment. There are no guarantees in life, but there is this: how you live today will be proof of what you truly value. Don't just talk about goals, make time for them. Give them space, give them your presence. Otherwise, they're just dreams floating in a journal, waiting for someone bold enough to bring them to life. Here's a hard truth: how you manage your time is how you manage your life. Your calendar is a mirror. Look at it. What does it reflect about your priorities, your dreams, your growth? It doesn't matter what you claim to care about. Your time tells the real story. You say you want to write the book. Show me the hours you've protected to actually write. You say your health matters. Show me the time set aside for movement, for rest, for nourishment. We don't just build habits, they build us. And if you're not intentional about what you do repeatedly, you're building a version of life that might not be anywhere near where you want to go. This is the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. But those who win, they confront it head on. They understand one thing deeply. Time is the only resource that feels infinite until it's gone. You'll never outrun the clock, but you can outfocus it. And when you do, you'll start to see your hours not as a punishment, but as a privilege, a toolbox, a gift. And when used well, those hours won't just move you forward. They'll build a life worth waking up for. We often think of time in terms of productivity or scheduling, but rarely do we consider the emotional weight of wasted hours. The truth is, every time you postpone what truly matters, a small piece of your inner power fades. Anxiety grows, guilt creeps in, regret silently builds. Because deep down, you know what you're capable of. You know what needs to be done. And yet, we justify delays with phrases like, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'm just too tired right now." But tomorrow is not guaranteed. What is guaranteed is that every hour you spend avoiding growth adds to the mental fog. You start to question your potential. You compare yourself with others who seem ahead, ignoring the fact that they simply didn't stop when it was hard. This isn't about self-judgment. It's about self-awareness. Are your days driven by vision or by avoidance? When you start taking ownership of your time, with honesty and courage, something powerful happens. Energy returns, clarity returns. Progress, even slow, begins to rebuild confidence. Because when you reclaim your time, you reclaim your mind. That's where everything begins to change. Not with hacks or habits, but with the brave decision to stop wasting what you can't get back. Your life doesn't need perfection. It needs presence. It needs direction. The world loves multitasking. It's glorified, celebrated, and it's also one of the greatest thieves of deep progress. The human brain is not wired to do multiple focused tasks at once. Every time you switch between replying to messages, checking social feeds, and working on real goals, you're not improving efficiency. You're draining focus. It's like pouring your energy into 10 cups at the same time and then wondering why none of them are full. The truly successful don't juggle everything. They choose one thing and honor it with their undivided attention. That's why their results seem effortless. Because their focus is fierce. If you find yourself constantly busy, but not moving forward, ask yourself, are you truly busy or are you just distracted? Multitasking gives the illusion of progress while slowly stealing your momentum. But when you block out noise, silence notifications, and commit to one meaningful task, even for an hour, the results compound. Not just externally, but internally. You feel clearer, stronger, aligned. In that space of focus, you begin to remember how much power you actually have. The best use of your time is not in doing more, but in doing what matters deeply, intentionally, and with purpose. Time management isn't just about what you do. It's about what you don't do. Every yes is a trade off. When you say yes to distractions, you're saying no to progress. When you say yes to things that drain your energy, you're saying no to things that build your purpose. People often fear saying no, afraid it might seem selfish or cause discomfort. But there's nothing selfish about protecting your energy. You have dreams that require your full attention. You have goals that won't survive if you keep giving your hours away to people pleasing or people avoiding. The strongest people you know, they're not rude, they're clear. And clarity demands boundaries. Protecting your 24 hours might upset some people who benefited from your constant availability. But their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to the life you're building. And that means learning the art of respectful refusal. Say no to chaos. Say no to comparison. Say no to the version of yourself that accepted less to keep others happy. Because every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you say yes to the future that does. In the race for productivity, rest is often demonized, seen as weakness, laziness, or a luxury for the privileged. But real discipline doesn't ignore rest, it integrates it. Because rest isn't pausing from progress, it fuels it. Your brain, your body, your heart, they aren't machines. They require recovery, restoration, reflection. And when you deprive yourself of rest, you don't save time, you sabotage it. Tired minds make weak decisions. Burned out bodies slow progress. Greatness isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And those who last are those who know when to push and when to pause. So don't fall for the lie that more hours equals more success. Strategic rest, real, present, intentional rest makes your action more effective. The truth is, rest is not the opposite of diligence. It's a partner in it. High performers don't just work harder, they recover smarter. They prioritize sleep like a strategy. They disconnect like a requirement. Because they understand a rested mind moves clearer, faster, and with greater purpose. Master your rest, and you master your rhythm. That's not laziness. That's leadership. Every minute you live, you are writing. Even if no pen is in hand, your actions are the ink. Your choices are the paragraphs. And the story of your life is unfolding right now. The tragedy is that most people don't realize they're the author. They live like the plot has already been written, like someone else holds the pen. But that's a lie. You own the next chapter, not with wishes, but with what you do in the next hour. The meals you eat, the messages you send, the things you listen to, the content you consume, the people you keep close. These things don't just fill your day, they shape it. They either build or break momentum. So the most powerful question you can ask yourself daily is this: what kind of life am I building with my next hour? You don't have to rewrite your past. You don't have to fix every mistake. You just have to use now, wisely, fully, and intentionally. And when you do that again, and then again, hours turn into days, days into transformation. Before long, you look back and realize you didn't just live another day. You authored a future worth feeling proud of. Your time doesn't just reveal what you value, it shapes who you are becoming. Every choice to show up, every block of focused effort, every minute spent on growth, these aren't just tasks. They are identity builders. Slowly, silently, they carve out the version of you that is stronger, wiser, more capable. Most people look for motivation to act, but those who create lasting change reverse that formula. They act, and through action, motivation follows. The person who dreams of transformation but doesn't change their calendar isn't serious. Because identity is built through routine, not intention alone. Want clarity. Track how you spend your day. Want confidence. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Want success. Show up even when it's not exciting. It's not glamour that builds greatness. It's grind. Microscopic moments of discipline, stacked day after day, that compound into something undeniable. Your habits are living proof of your mindset. If you constantly delay what matters, maybe it's not your schedule, maybe it's your standards. But the good news, standards can evolve right now. From this hour forward, begin managing your time like someone whose future depends on it. Because it does. People often overestimate what they can do in a week and drastically underestimate what they can achieve in a year if they stay consistent. That's the power of small wins. They're not loud and they rarely feel special, but they build something most people never experience. Unstoppable momentum, a 20-minute focus session, a walk instead of scrolling, choosing deep work over distractions for just one evening. These decisions might feel small, but they carry compound interest. Successful people don't wait for energy, clarity, or comfort. They create it through repetition, through staying the course even when it's boring. Because they've learned something crucial: your greatest growth often hides in the moments that feel the least rewarding. While the world obsesses over breakthroughs, they are quietly mastering the basics, building daily disciplines, adding invisible bricks to a foundation that will one day look like overnight success. But there's nothing overnight about it. Every ordinary action adds up. And months from now, when people ask how you did it, the answer will be, I stopped waiting for perfect days and started honoring the small ones. Everywhere you turn, something is fighting for your attention. Notifications, noise, news, people, platforms. It's no longer just about managing time. It's about defending it. We live in a world designed to keep you reactive, but progress requires you to get proactive, to unplug, to pause, to ask yourself, is this something that moves me forward or pulls me away? Most people aren't lazy, they're distracted. And distraction is the silent killer of dreams. It doesn't feel harmful in the moment, but it chips away at your focus until nothing important gets done. You begin a day with intention and end it wondering, where did all the time go? But those who win the day build filters. They decide in advance what deserves their energy and what doesn't. They curate their environment to support their focus. It's not about perfection, it's about awareness. Awareness of your triggers, awareness of what steals your presence. Because a life well lived is one where attention is given with purpose, not handed over by default. When you live awake, fully engaged in what matters, even your most ordinary days become life-changing. You can make all the plans in the world, structure your calendar down to the minute, but if you don't protect your energy, your time is powerless. Time without energy is like having a car without fuel. You'll sit there, watch the clock, and feel frustrated that your schedule isn't helping you move. Successful people know this secret: well-managing energy is the anchor of performance. Sleep, nutrition, movement, boundaries, these aren't luxuries, they're foundations. Because when you pour from an empty cup, not only do you hurt yourself, you give others the worst version of you. You don't need more hours. You need better habits that sustain your energy through those hours. That means doing deep work when your brain is sharpest and resting when your body demands it without guilt. That means saying no to everything that drains you, even if it's uncomfortable. And it means committing to a lifestyle that supports your longevity, not just your deadlines. You're not a machine. You're a human. And your energy, not your hustle, determines how well your hours serve you. Everybody has fears. Everybody has doubts. Everybody has a reason to wait. But what separates the ones who move forward is simple: they act anyway. They don't wait for fear to disappear before starting. They don't need everything to be perfectly planned out. They understand that clarity often comes from movement, not from thinking. Excuses are comforting. They let you off the hook. They protect your ego. But they also rob your future. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you're giving your dream a deadline it may never meet. But when you commit, when you block the hour, when you mute the noise, when you sit down and begin, the tide shifts. You don't need motivation, you need motion. Taking action, even small and messy, breaks the loop of hesitation. Over time, it turns into identity. I'm someone who shows up. Success isn't built in ideal conditions. It's built when you move forward anyway. This is where growth lies, on the other side of your excuses. So stop negotiating with fear. Stop waiting for signs. Your sign is the fact that you woke up today with 24 hours. The question is, what will you do with them? One of the strongest indicators of self-respect isn't how you talk to yourself. It's how you use your time. You can repeat affirmations all day long. Tell yourself you're meant for more, but if your actions don't align, your mind knows the truth. There's nothing more empowering than honoring the time you've been given. It's the most concrete way to say, my life matters. True confidence doesn't come from hype. It comes from the quiet knowledge that you're living in alignment with your values, that you're not wasting your energy on things that don't serve who you're becoming. When you protect your time, you protect your growth. And when something threatens that growth, a draining relationship, endless distractions, meaningless tasks, you're allowed to say no. That boundary is a gift to your future self. Your time is your self-respect in motion. Anyone can talk about prioritizing what matters, but the real proof is how you spend your hour when no one's looking. Respect doesn't grow from approval, it grows from commitment. The kind of consistent, intentional choices that say, I don't just believe in my vision, I'm making time for it. Motivation is unreliable. Some days you wake up overflowing with energy, ready to conquer the world. Other days you hit snooze, scroll for an hour, and wonder why everything feels off. That's why successful people don't rely on motivation, they rely on systems. Systems are the routines, habits, and structures that support your goals regardless of how you feel. Because feelings are temporary, but your purpose isn't. Systems help you show up on autopilot. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't wait for inspiration. You've just made it part of your identity. That's what time discipline becomes when it's systemized. Morning routines that launch your day. Deep work blocks that protect your brain's best energy hours. Night routines that renew your mind and body. These aren't just productivity hacks. They are declarations of seriousness. They say, I'm not interested in reacting to life. I'm here to build it. Systems liberate you from decision fatigue and emotional inconsistency. You don't have to waste energy debating what to do. Your plan already decided that when your emotions were still calm. And as your habits become ironclad, your progress becomes inevitable. We often hear people talk about their legacy, the impact they want to leave behind, big lofty ideas, end goals. But the truth is this: your legacy is being written right now in the way you manage today. No one wakes up and suddenly becomes someone worth remembering. It happens over years of quiet action, small choices, invisible struggles. You're building something that will either outlive you or be forgotten, based on how seriously you treat time today. Each hour invested in purpose, creativity, growth, or service is a seed. Some will take years to sprout. Others will bloom quietly when you least expect them to. You won't always see the results right away, but that doesn't mean they aren't shaping the future. Everyone wants to do something that matters. Few are willing to give their hours to it when there's no applause. But those who are, they're the ones time remembers. Not because they had fortune, fame, or favors, but because they gave their energy to something bigger than comfort. Your legacy is not a moment. It's a pattern. It's not in what you said. It's in what you did over and over again. When it was hard, when it was dull, when it was silent. Pressure isn't the enemy. Avoidance is. Many people run from pressure believing it will break them. But growth doesn't happen in the absence of pressure. It happens because of it. When you stretch, sweat, struggle, and still show up, you forge resilience. And resilience is what turns wasted hours into defining moments. The most powerful people on the planet weren't born without fear. They just learned that pressure was a training ground, not a punishment. When life squeezes you, your habits are revealed. Do you retreat to distractions? Or do you double down on purpose? This is where time management becomes more than productivity. It becomes character building. Pressure tests your identity. It asks, are you disciplined or just interested? This is why how you manage time during hard seasons defines everything. It's easy to follow a plan when life is smooth. But do you trust your systems when life gets messy? Because that's when greatness is forged. Not in comfort, but in discomfort that demands consistency over convenience. So next time pressure finds you, pause and ask, what is this trying to train in me? That perspective doesn't just protect your time, it multiplies its value every day. You live by a clock. The question is, whose clock are you on? Is it your calendar, your purpose, your systems, or someone else's expectations robbing your hours? People who fail to guard their time end up living by other people's timelines. The meeting that didn't need to happen, the call that led nowhere, the scroll that stole your prime thinking hour, it all adds up. The danger isn't just lost time. It's living a life that never had your fingerprints on it. The clock is neutral. It doesn't care what you do. It just keeps ticking. Those who achieve what matters, they stop reacting and start commanding. They create their own schedule based on their own personal blueprint of legacy and alignment. That doesn't mean control-freak routines. It means intentionality. You plan your day or someone else will plan it for you. You fill your hour or it gets filled with noise. And here's the beautiful twist. Once you begin managing the clock, the anxiety begins to fade. You no longer chase time, you guide it. You no longer feel burnt out because every action has meaning. The clock was never the problem. Your patterns are. But they're yours to change. And there's no better time than right now. Not all time feels the same, and not all hours produce the same results. There's a massive difference between an hour spent scrolling aimlessly and an hour spent building your vision. We often say we don't have time, but the truth is, we're not using our best time for our best work. You weren't made to operate in chaos. Disorganized energy leads to distracted outcomes. The key is not just to manage your time, but to manage your prime time. That means understanding your energy cycles, protecting your mental peak, and using that peak not to consume, but to create, not to escape, but to build. People who rise don't work longer than everyone else. They work sharper. They know when their focus is strongest, when their distractions are loudest, and how to say no to anything that turns them reactive instead of proactive. This self-awareness is the difference between mere routine and real results. So every morning, don't just look at what to do. Ask when to do it. You don't need more time. You need to value your best time as sacred, because it is. So many people feel out of alignment, like their lives are off-center, like something's missing. And they often think, if I just had more clarity, I'd take action. But here's the truth: clarity doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing. You don't find purpose by reading about it. You find it in the work, in the trial and error, in the moments where you risk discomfort for growth. Every time you take action, you learn something about the path, about the process, about yourself. That's how alignment is created. The people who appear to have it all figured out, they didn't discover their purpose by accident. They built it, one focused hour at a time, one intentional yes at a time, and often through dozens of failed attempts that no one saw. They didn't wait for the perfect day or the most ideal schedule. They just started doing the work, and slowly the fog lifted. If you feel off track, detach from the outcome and attach to the consistency of meaningful effort. When your time is spent intentionally, your direction gets clearer, not overnight, but always. One of the most overlooked impacts of how you use your time is this: people are watching. Your family, your peers, your children, your team. The strength of your effort creates ripple effects you may never see, but they matter. When someone sees you choosing purpose over comfort, they're silently inspired. You're showing them the possibility they forgot existed. You're giving them permission to believe again. This is why time discipline isn't just personal. It's powerfully collective. When you honor the hours you've been given, you encourage others to do the same. That's true leadership, not in title. In example, every time you rise early and work in silence instead of distraction, every time you choose focus over escape, every time you stay consistent while others make excuses, you're not just building your future, you're unlocking potential in others. You become living proof that change is possible, that the hustle isn't meaningless, That waking up with intention isn't some cliche, it's courage in motion. This is how movements begin. Not with speeches, but with structure. Not with hype, but with habit. Effort is magnetic. Make yours count. We believe the more we do, the more we prove our worth. But some of the most powerful moments aren't found in doing more. They're found in being fully present in what we've already chosen. In a world constantly pulling our focus in 1,000 directions, presence is a superpower. Your 24 hours aren't designed to be crammed. They're designed to be lived, fully, deeply. When you're working, work. When you're resting, rest. When you're listening, listen with your whole self. This is how you multiply the power of your time. Not by racing through it, but by going deeper into it. Presence gives your minutes weight. It turns the smallest habits into mastery, the simplest conversations into connection, the most ordinary tasks into purpose-filled rituals. When you live present, you stop rushing through the day and you start making the day count. This is what separates high performers from the overwhelmed, not just time management, but attention management. So if you want more from your life, stop spreading yourself thinner. Start showing up wider, fuller. Here, now, your clock is ticking, not as a threat, but as a reminder. A reminder that you are in control of what comes next. No one will hand you discipline. No one will gift you consistency. Those are choices, one day at a time, one moment at a time, one 24-hour window at a time. Your life won't change because of some massive event. It'll change when you start to treat your time like your most valuable asset. Because it is. Every excuse you've made is built from fear. Every breakthrough you admire was built from focus. You have that same time. Now the only question left is, what story will you write with it? You're not too late. You're not too tired. You're not too far behind. The time has always been there. It just needed you to wake up and own it. If this video resonated with your mission, if it sparked even one new decision about how you manage your 24 hours, hit like and explore more tools, stories, and insights on our channel. Your time deserves strategy. Your life deserves intention. And we're here to help you rise, one focused day at a time.